Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net on Thursday the 6th of November. Thanks again for watching. And after bonfire night, we normally find that air quality diminishes, but some very poor air quality around today. This is from the DEFRA website showing UK air pollution. And I kind of have a few questions over how this data is monitored, but nonetheless, certainly today it's showing very high levels. The purple colours here are very high pollution levels. I suppose what you'd expect after the 5th of November, but certainly that could be presenting some problems, particularly if people have got respiratory problems. I'm amazed that actually there hasn't been more information on the media about that, warning people to take care when they're outside, make sure they've got medication with them. And looking at one of the pollution monitoring sites, this is actually in Walsall in the West Midlands. You notice here, these are days look across the bottom. So these are the 7-day graphs. Look at the peaks going up here of the nitrogen levels. Ozone is down. Ozone is the one, low-level ozone is the one that really interests me at the moment. And the link back to human health, I'm doing some research on that right now. But what's generating this very poor air quality, certainly this increased look in nitrogen oxide levels that occurred last night. Exactly what you'd expect, of course, leading up to bonfire night. But it's still there today. But I'm hopeful that the winds that increased today will basically blow much of that pollution away and levels should come back down to near normal levels. I'll tell you more about low-level ozone in future broadcasts. But yeah, that's a very, very interesting one. Got a personal interest in that as well, which I'll tell you more about at some future time. So let's pull out then from the UK and have a look and see what's going on globally. This is temperature anomaly for the last 30 days, running up to today. And you can notice here, look in the Northern Hemisphere, how we've had generally warm to near normal conditions across the States, also across much of Europe and North Africa. But just look how chilly it's been across Russia. Milder conditions though, look, you notice here, look, in Southeast Asia and also warm across Australia too. Now, that was the last 30 days. Compare that to the next 7 days and look at the changes taking place. Warming up across most of Russia and certainly much warmer here, look across western parts of Russia, but cooler for the west of Europe. Much cooler conditions now coming into the States and running down to southwestern parts of Asia, running into the Middle East there. Staying warm across Australia as well. So a change taking place with certainly this cooler air coming down into the States and also into Western Russia as well. So kind of a flip in the pattern taking place over the next 7 days. Globally, by the way, temperatures about, well, getting off 0.4 degrees Celsius above normal. Close to home over the next few days, we've got wind and rain piling into the west today. As I say, I'm hopeful this wind is going to be blowing away that air pollution. We forecast gusts of wind during the course of this afternoon getting up to 40 to 50 miles per hour and lasting into this evening as well. Hopefully most of that will be blown away from the atmosphere. Then lead into another windy day tomorrow, periods of rain around, particularly across eastern parts of England, through central and southern Scotland and across northwestern England and the north and the west of Wales. That rain clearing away, but then more rain coming in on Saturday up from the southwest. Again, it's England and Wales in the firing line. Pressure remaining in control through Sunday, although I am hopeful that it's a drier down Sunday for many, although still some heavy showers out towards the west and some heavy ones across southeast England too. Now frost overnight into Monday, but again I'm hopeful that Monday should be a largely dry day, but rain will be piling into the west, coming through Ireland into southwestern parts of England later on in the day. Eastwards overnight into Tuesday, but then heavy showers in the west and the south through Tuesday, but drier towards the east. Temperatures throughout probably holding reasonably steady. Okay, so what about further ahead? Well, let's do a comparison first of all, the MJO from the CFS and the MJO from the ECMWF. And this is the MJO CFS forecast. And notice that the colours, by the way, here, the coloured lines are the various runs of the model, and they're all quite close in, so some agreement there. Notice what it does, it kind of hangs around in this very sort of weak phase 2, phase 1 condition through to about the 25th, and then it breaks through into a proper phase 2 condition before around about the 29th going into a phase 3, and then some of the models bring it into a phase 4, I think early part of December. So you're looking about the 7th or the 8th of December here. Now, That with the ECMWF, and again what that's trying to do, the green line here, the highlighted green line, and in fact what I'm going to do is zoom in on that for you to make it a bit easier to read. There we go. So the green line is predicted, and you see again, look, the ensembles just want to keep it for the next 30 days around about that very weak phase 1, phase 2 condition. But what's interesting is some of the runs here, and the yellow lines are each of the runs, so some of the runs here, look, wanting to follow similar lines to the CFS. So what conditions do we see with phase 2? This is typical phase 2 conditions then through November, and remember that the CFS and the ECMWF were kind of hovering around these phase 2 conditions through to, at least as far as the CFS was concerned, through to around the 25th of the month. And you see what they do is they produce lower than normal heights to the north, higher than normal heights south, and to the northeast. And what we find is this flow, a stronger jet across the Atlantic coming into the south of the UK, and that produces an elongated trough through the UK, which in turn maintains the unsettled conditions and near normal temperatures. Now that's not to say it's wet throughout, there'll be an odd drier day as we've seen, but basically it keeps what we've got going for the next couple of weeks. And of course some doubt over it breaking into phase 3 as far as the ECMWF is concerned, but the CFS wants to take it into phase 3 around about the 29th of November. Phase 3 sees these kind of building heights towards the south, still lower towards the north, and maintains more of a southwesterly jet across northern and western Scotland with unsettled conditions there. But if we did get into phase 3, it's dry conditions coming into the south. Now you remember me telling you that I thought the final 3rd of November would lean into drier conditions, and I think this date of the 29th is a bit late. I'd gone around the 20th. Perhaps we should think around the 21st, 22nd for dry conditions, probably mostly England and Wales and perhaps Southern Ireland, as high pressure tries to build into the south, that getting northwards and bringing in that drier end to the month. The big question is, if it gets in, does it last? FS tried to get it into phase 4, and if phase 4 did come in, this is the typical phase 4 conditions, which puts high pressure over the top of us. I have to say at the moment, I think this is doubtful. I think what will happen is that the high is likely to be retreating off towards the south. Some of it may split north, and we'll probably find the jet coming back in from the west or the southwest in the early parts of December. And the CFS temperature trace, look, shows a fall off in temperature through November, which I can kind of buy into. This is the colder conditions here, look, as that high gets in at the end of the month. But then, look, it picks up December temperatures again fairly quickly at the beginning of December, trying to indicate that that west or southwesterly flow tries to get back in again. And overall, I tend to buy that temperature profile as of now. Just remember, though, much can change. We'll keep you updated, of course, right the way throughout here at weatherweb.net. But for now, whatever you're doing, thanks again for watching. Have a great day and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.